In the mid-90s, Fire Emblem was one of Nintendo's biggest video game series, thanks to Mystery of the Emblem and Genealogy of the Holy War. 1999 through mid-2001, the series received a lot of backlash and went through rough times. The series has inspired the Legend of Zelda series and the Pokemon series of video games, and has been admired by people such as Daisuke Iizuka, Shigeru Miyamoto, Satoru Iwata, Keisuke Tadasaki, and even Masahiro Sakurai. In 2001, the Fire Emblem series was inducted into Smash Bros., and after 15 years, the series now has 6 playable fighters, second place for the highest representation of the game. Now it's time to look back and learn about these characters, and their moves, colors, and design origins. Starting with Marth, who has the highest appearances out of the 6 playable fighters out of the Fire Emblem series, both in and outside of Smash Bros. Before Bayonetta, Cloud, or Little Mac, Marth was the first and most faithful to his series, and his design reflects upon that perfectly. Marth is the only swordsman in Smash Bros. To only fight using a sword at all times, with the exception of his grab, throws, and pummel attack. First appearing in Smash Bros. For the GameCube in 2001, his design was based on his appearance from Fire Emblem Mystery of the Emblem. His colors are default. His red is a callback to Kain from Fire Emblem Mystery of the Emblem. Green is a mystery. Black is a callback to Camille from Mystery of the Emblem. And white is a callback to Leif from Fire Emblem Teresia 776. Marth is a very flexible and well-balanced character, boasting in a wide range mostly from attacking with a weapon. He has a fast dash speed, tied with Fox for the fastest walking speed. He isn't that light or heavy, and a generally floated character, so he can't be juggled very well. Marth's only weapon is the Falchion from Mystery of the Emblem that he receives at the end of Book 1 and 2 after defeating Garneth with the Starlight in order to slay or assist in slaying Medivh, the final boss in both books. One advantage Marth has in Smash Bros., as far as design goes, is that he's the only character to be from a simulation game series. For this reason, all of his animations were directly copied from Mystery of the Emblem to Smash Bros. Fire Emblem is the only simulation game where units can trade items with each other during preparations, or during the chapter. This is why Marth has the longest non-tether grab range, due to trading with units adjacent to him whether they're flying, armored, or mounted units. Each tile in the game isn't exactly directly to each other, but in close proximity. This is why Marth always walks towards his attack targets, or dashes up to them in the event of a critical hit. This is where Marth's dash/walking animations come from, as well as why he has the fastest walking speed. All of Marth's non-special moves are all animations or attacks from sword users in Mystery of the Emblem, with the exception of grab, pummel, get-up attack, and roll. His 1-2 jab is based on how he attacks while having the Falchion equipped in. He strikes downwards, then slashes upwards. The second jab was also a dash attack in the game. His forward tilt is how thieves attack, only instead of going down, the swing rises. His down tilt is how player thief units used to attack. He used to jump towards the enemy and swing low, attacking the legs. Marth doesn't swing his sword, but he does stab it forward. Marth's up tilt is similar to the generic sword attack in Mystery, but it's arced overhead. Marth's specials are also not exact animations, with the exception of his side special, while the others are flavorful to the series and reference mechanics, weapons, or unit classes. Marth's standard special, Shieldbreaker, is in reference to the rapier, the standard weapon Marth has in the beginning of Book 1 and 2 of Mystery of the Emblem. The attack Shieldbreaker can break shields with ease, and can even be charged up. In Mystery of the Emblem, the rapier is strong against social knights, or paladins, and armor knights, generals. The two strongest classes in terms of defense, which is why it breaks shields easily. Marth's side special, Marvelous Combination, is where Marth uses various animations from all the sword-wielding classes in Mystery of the Emblem, and changes colors to represent red, green, and blue, and reference Est, Peora, and Katua, the Pegasus Knight sisters of Macedonia, or Abel, Cain, and Marth of Aridia. The movements and animations are also similar to Freena's dancing animations from Mystery of the Emblem. Est, Peora, and Katua can also perform a move called Triangle Attack when in a triangular position, to guarantee a critical hit, which is where the move gets its name from. Again, the move uses attack animations from all sword wielder classes: Knight, Thief, Mercenary or Brave, Lord, Command, and Dancer. Marth's up special, Dolphine Slash, is in reference to how aerial units attack other aerial units. They drive down, then rise up and attack the enemy with a lance. However, Marth simply jumps vertically while attacking on the way up. This is more communally seen in Genealogy of the Holy War's Shooting Star Attack, skill trigger, where the fifth and final strike ends with a long jump at the end. Marth's counter is interesting since it isn't an attack animation, but more of a mechanic in simulation games where units have a chance to attack either at the same time or after the attacker whenever possible. In Fire Emblem, the attacked unit performs an attack after being struck, if the attack wasn't lethal or in range. In Smash Bros., Marth's counter gives him a unique animation where he has a window to unleash a counterattack with fixed knockback. This counterattack can be triggered by long-range strikes, but will have no effect since the enemy is not in range. This is reference to when a close-range unit is struck by a unit with a long-range weapon. The attacked unit can't counterattack since their weapon has a shorter range. Marth also can't counter when he's being grabbed, since he's considered helpless. This is in reference to being dealt lethal damage, where regardless, you can't counterattack. Marth's aerials are all based on Cheney's movements in the air, with a high jump and a single slash on the way down, with the same slash repeated for all of Marth's aerials in different directions, sending the enemy in those directions, with the exception of neutral air, which is the same slash swung horizontally in Marth's point of view, both in front of him and behind him. His back air also fully turns him around, which is another feature in Mystery of the Emblem. The target always faces towards the attacker, so Marth is always pointing towards the enemy while doing his attack. This happens in every Fire Emblem game too. Although his grab animations aren't from Fire Emblem, his throws are correlated to the series. His up throw is related to trading items with an aerial unit, such as Pegasus Knights or Dragon Knights. His forward and back throws are related to trading with units adjacent to him, and his down throw is the same as throwing an item downward, where he's standing, in reference to discarding an item in Fire Emblem. Again, his pummel isn't in reference to anything to the series, and it's original for Smash Bros. Marth's gimmicks and voice lines are flavorful and faithful to the series. Marth's main taunt translates to "Everyone look at me." This references how in both books, Marth was generally weak and looked down upon in Mystery of the Emblem. Marth's taunt is just that, a taunt. In Mystery of the Emblem, Marth is nowhere close to being the strongest character in the lore. Even with Falchion, he's only good at slaying Medivh as an Earth Dragon with a fatal strike to the head. Marth never says this line in game either. He comes from a continent full of dragons and weapons that rival the power of gods themselves. By comparison, to anthropomorphic animals, Zelda, pocket-sized monsters, Eskimos, and a race car driver, Marth has nothing to fear and is full of overconfidence. This is also expressed in his victory poses to an extent and idle animation, where he brushes his hair out of his face. "I shall not lose. This is my victory, is it not? And today I have survived as well." All of these reference the series. His first victory is his overconfidence in the Smash Bros. Series, while his second references that he finally won a battle against a person that wasn't Earth Dragon Medivh. Since Marth's only victory in both books was to Earth Dragon Medivh, and he lost all of his other fights, or was unconscious and missed the fight, which is where his shield break stun animation comes from. Finally, his third victory references survival in the series, seeing as Fire Emblem is the first simulation game to have permanent death to player units. Marth's counter phrases consist of "Take this," "I saw through your attack," and "Like I would let you do that," proving his confidence from being the only Fire Emblem unit from his series and game. Marth's congratulations after clearing Classic, Adventure, and All-Star mode all reference something. His classic references how he attacks with the falchion in Mystery of the Emblem. He draws in light and slams down his sword, and not like the light sword from Genealogy of the Holy War. This is also why he slams his sword down during Shieldbreaker. His adventure mode clear references Marth fighting the Black Knight Camille, although in a fight between Marth and Link, Marth would easily win, but Marth vs Camille probably wouldn't end well for Marth. His final All-Star clear is in reference to Abel and Peora, two green-clad star-crossed lovers who both die at the end of Book 2 of Mystery of the Emblem. Abel is also the source of his screen color. Marth's smash attacks are based on his primary slash when using the falchion, where he slams it down while absorbing light. Maybe that's why characters glow yellow when charging a smash attack. He also glows blue due to the Star Orb, making him the Star Lord in Mystery of the Emblem. His up smash is in reference to when he's about to attack with the falchion. He juts his sword upward into the sky and absorbs the light. After that, he would commence the slash. His down or side smash is the thief attack, where they jump forward and slash down. Only after the forward slash, he does a consecutive attack behind, in reference to the battle mechanic and double attacking. Probably the most notable thing about Marth that everyone talks about is his tipper, which is just a reference to how he attacks the enemy with the rapier. He stabs the enemy and thrusts the tip of his sword into them. The rapier also has a decent critical hit rate. When he does perform a critical hit, he stabs the rapier into the enemy aggressively, to the point where the screen shakes. If you notice at Marth's hitboxes, you can see that he has 3 different arcs to all his attacks: a weak, normal, and strong one. This is referencing the ways to hit the enemy: normal hits, critical hits, and lethal hits. Both in Smash Bros. And in Fire Emblem, they have 3 different sounds when hitting the enemy. Marth's tipper sounds are exclusive to Marth, and are usually his lethal blows such as down air and forward smash. Finally, Marth is the only swordsman in the entire Smash Bros. Series who puts his sword away when blocking and rolling, like a real swordsman. He also only does this in the GameCube iteration. His cape has the coat of arms of Aridia, the country he's from. In Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Marth gained some new interesting things. His animation for Shieldbreaker is more based on his attack animation in the new series, both New Dark Dragon and the Sword of Light, and New Mystery of the Emblem, Hero of Light and Shadow. Marth's new taunt when he thrusts his sword upward is in reference to his critical hit animation from the new series. His last taunt is the only instance where he sheaths his sword, even though this isn't a real animation in any of the games. Marth also gains a new 6th color, in reference to his blue-on-blue appearance from Mystery of the Emblem. He also got a masterpiece with a demo of Fire Emblem Mystery of the Emblem, the first Fire Emblem game, and the best one. Marth's classic Congratulations is a first-person perspective of Marth stabbing Medea with the falchion at the end of Book 1 of Mystery of the Emblem, while his All-Star Congratulations reference Fire Emblem The Sword of Flame. With Marth's newest color, he looks like Eliwood, with Lyn, also from The Sword of Flame. Marth also got a new walking animation. In Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, Marth received 2 new colors representing Roy from Fire Emblem The Sealed Sword, and a yellow color in reference to Jurian from Mystery of the Emblem. Once again, Mystery of the Emblem appears as a masterpiece demo again. Nothing truly changes from the Wii iteration to the Wii U 3DS version. Marth receives some new voice lines from taking damage and being launched. Marth's 3DS Classic Clear is in reference to Chapter 14 in Mystery of the Emblem, Star-Lord Marth, which his full title is Light Prince of Aridia, Star-Lord Marth. His Classic Clear on the Wii U is his final smash, Critical Hit, which copies his dash animation and how he performed a critical hit in Mystery of the Emblem. His All-Star Clear for the Wii U is based off of Terracia 776, just like the 3DS version. Only this references Leaf and his wife, Nana. Marth's playstyle also simulates simulation games. To move perfectly, forcing your opponent to play around you while adapting and punishing them with his heavy combo game. However, Marth isn't an aggressive character, but when the enemy comes to him, is when he can really start to take full control, just like in Fire Emblem. This is why Marth is at his best on stages like Final Destination and Battlefield, with no variables to interfere, just like in Fire Emblem. Even though the Falchion's design has changed in Fire Emblem New Dark Dragon and the Sword of Light, Fire Emblem New Mystery of the Emblem Hero of Light and Shadow, and Fire Emblem Awakening, it still keeps its original design from Fire Emblem Mystery of the Emblem, the first and best Fire Emblem game of the series that has been on all of Marth's figures.